Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are going to be working on the orders in the profile. Now, I'm going to merge these two screens together, and I'll show you why in a second. So let me just grab this and bring it over. Now, we have a new navigation setup where we don't necessarily have this, orders section that we had before. Now we're just going to keep them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete some of this stuff here. I'm going to just leave this down here. What do we got? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these items, and we can come up here and just write profile. And I'm going to just take this container here, and we can tuck that in. We can call this our profile information container. Looking good. And okay, we can just do away with that. So moving quite quickly through some of this stuff, and that's totally fine because hopefully you are following along. And I'm just going to grab our avatar icon, and we can either go to the 80 pixel route. We can turn this on and just hold shift while we get it right into the columns. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select all these items within, press fill container, and now we can start using our styles and our colors and everything like that. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing for the type of description that we have here. Perfect. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a button. I'm just going to reuse this button over here. Whoa, it's a little bit too much. There we go. And let's see our layers right now. So we have that, so we don't need this anymore. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to just call this my container for now. And the next thing I'm going to do is just make this a small button. I'm going to keep it as my secondary. I don't need an icon, and I'm going to make sure that it's hugging contents because I want it out of the way, and we can call this just plain and simple edit. And we may need to make a note of just the padding around this button. So I'm going to put it to 16. Okay, that looks really good. And then the next thing I do, I'm just going to set this to hug content, and then we can go ahead and put the top down padding on it. Next thing we want to do is bring in our orders. So I'm going to throw orders in here too, and then I'll leave a link easily to access all of the orders. But now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my assets, grab one of these beautiful cards, and then go into my order card. And then from here, I'm just going to hold command and drag that in there and make sure it's set to fill content. Here we can actually set things like, the color of this label. We can say that arriving today, something like that. Maybe we can change the color later. And I think that's it. Now we can also bring in, I'm going to just make a copy of this and just drag it down. And we can, put this kind of stuff in there. We could just call it interests. And I'm going to delete this container. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my assets. I'm going to grab this card label, and we can, it's almost the same as that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just press Shift A to put that into a container. And we can just call this column. We'll use 16 pixels by 0 by 0. And I'm just going to Command D, You can use Control D if you're on Windows. Make sure that it's going to go down, and then I'm going to take another one and put it right beside it, and then take both of them and Shift A again and call this my card container once more. And then now I'm going to hold Command and throw it in my section container. Now we can set it to fill. I'm going to press Enter, which is going to select both columns. We can set that to fill. Press Enter again, which is going to select all the cards and fill that container. And now we can go about actually cleaning this up. So we have the card label, and I'm just going to call it gaming. And we can get like one of the controllers. And then I have this one, which we can call fashion. And I can get a nice pair of glasses. For this one, I'm going to call this one like music or something. And then we are going to get maybe a guitar. And for this one, we can call this one reading. And I'm going to grab the like a book. So there we go. And now it's just about, you know, diversifying these a bit. So we have red. This one can be blue, and this one can be green, just like we have over here on that side. And we can set these heights nicely. Oops. This one can be much shorter. And that's looking great. And now we can combine. So, I mean, we can probably have another screen that goes into orders, like in the same manner where we have like a back button. But the next thing I do want to do is I'm going to actually grab one of these containers, and I'm going to just place it here. Oop, wrong container. I'm going to grab one of these containers. There we go. I knew something looked a little different. Let's just rename this profile while we're up here selecting the entire frame. Drag down. And now we can go ahead and go into my account, or maybe we could just call it account. Perfect. And now I'm just going to select all these items. And instead of the product card, I'm going to call them the category cards. And instead of the product category, we can go to account category. And now we can put such details in here. So I'm going to just call this one payment methods. And the icon's okay. This one we can call address. And we can just, we can change that to like a pin. And then this one over here, we can just call orders. So maybe this is more prominent. And we can change that to like a cart. Okay, so sometimes this will happen with items that have strokes. Totally fine. We will figure this out really quickly. So we have it set to 300. And we can come in here and fill that in to 4. These we can fill in as well. And there we go. So that is our account section. I think we can stop there for our main navigation. It's looking really, really sweet. I love it. And I think this is a much better version than just having, you know, 2 separate sections that you have to always go to. Whereas like if I've just created an order, I want to know like what are my most recent orders, and that's it. I don't really care too much about my past orders that have already been delivered or that are like maybe 3 months in the past. I can do that pretty easily by just going to view all or accessing it at the bottom here. Maybe this is like something that does like come all the way up. But that is our profile screen.